Hello, I'm Claire Paul. I'm the Allied Health Professions Lead for the Leeds Care Group. I provide professional leadership to the AHPs, so that's occupational therapy, physiotherapy, speech and language therapy and dietetics. We link in with the other Allied Health Professions Lead for the Trust, providing professional advice and clinical leadership across the care group. High quality research is really important to provide good quality care for the service users that we see. There's a whole spectrum of research activity, all of which add value to our service users and the services that we offer. So where to start? Once you've got some clinical experience, an internship scheme can be a really good option. Here's a couple of case studies to show somebody's experience of that scheme.
I qualified as an occupational therapist in January 2017 and I've been practicing with Leeds New York Partnership Foundation Trust since then. The pre-master's internship that I've been undertaking is offered through Sheffield Hallam University, and it's basically about a 9-month internship scheme, and over that time you have about 30 days to undertake research, and then in addition to that you have another 8 taught research days. My research is about the experiences of ex-elite climbers and mountaineers and their experience of transitioning out of that profession. And I wanted to look at this because I think often as occupational therapists we encounter people in times of transition when they've lost occupations that are meaningful to them. So in order to do this, I have been interviewing a number of different climbers and mountaineers who are either at the sort of latter stages of their career or have completely left that career entirely. I wanted to really capture the stories of these individual people and how they've experienced that transition. One of the things that I've been finding through interviewing climbers and mountaineers is that often they don't necessarily want to have or maintain a relationship with climbing and mountaineering. People don't always want to return to previous occupations. So I really wanted to use this research to, I suppose, illustrate to other occupational therapists that there are other ways of negotiating people through periods of transition in their lives that may or may not entail returning to old occupations. It's been a really challenging experience, but I've really enjoyed it. I think it's really allowed me the time and space to get out of a really busy, hectic, stressful work environment at times and be able to sort of think about things and ask questions that I don't necessarily have the time to do at work. So that's been really exciting and I think has definitely changed how I'm going to practice as an occupational therapist moving forward.
The Integrated Clinical Academic Research Scheme is technically a pre-master's internship, and the aim of it is to get a feeling for what it would be like to work as a clinical academic. As a new graduate, I'd really enjoyed doing the research aspect of my course when I was in university and really wanted to continue down that route a bit, but without committing to doing a PhD or something like that. So it's an opportunity to get that taste of what that world would look like. The aim of my research was to look at the international mountain biking population, their preferences, their characteristics, and also any perceived benefits to mental health and well-being that they consider to be coming from their participation in mountain biking. It was an online survey. 1,500 mountain bikers from all across the world participated, and essentially the results were really positive. One of the main conclusions is that mountain biking and other outdoor adventurous activities should and could be considered as mainstream mental health interventions, and I think that occupational therapists are perfectly placed to bring activities like this into mainstream healthcare. The internship's been really great. I feel like it's really developed me as a professional. It's given me a lot more confidence in doing literature searches, in critiquing papers, in being able to understand and handle data, as well as being able to work with other professionals and researchers and academics, and networking skills as well. So I've been to a few different conferences and been able to mix with a lot of different people, and that's been really beneficial in terms of my professional confidence. If you're thinking about it and you're umming and ahhing, I think it's give it a go and find out for yourself.
With some experience of research, a master's course can be a good way to do more. You choose the topic for your research so it can be directly relevant to your clinical practice. Here's one of our dietitians talking about her experience.
I think for me, I always wanted to do a master's and MSc, but I never thought I would do that because of time, financially doing it. Also, I love my clinical work, so I didn't want to step outside of that. And also that kind of, can I do it, that ability. And then a couple of years ago, I had a great opportunity to do a master's module with Leeds University, and that was on eating disorders and mental health. And I absolutely loved it, and it really inspired me. That led on to doing my postgraduate certificate in eating disorders, and that led on to doing my master's in nutrition. The master's in nutrition consists of 9 modules, so you could really pick and choose, and it then dovetailed into both of my roles. At the end of it, you did a dissertation. The research was looking at validating the Trust nutritional screen tool. What we were looking at is, does it do what it should do, i.e. does it measure both malnutrition and obesity? So over a 3-week period across the Trust, we screened 90 service users, and the staff screened them and also the dietitian screened them so we could compare the two. We were looking at, does it get the same results if a dietitian does it to a member of staff? And we found yes, it does. Does it screen for malnutrition and obesity? And we found it does. So what we want to do is do it in a larger sample. And what the dream of that would be is to have a nutritional screen tool that's validated that we can then market worldwide. What I loved about the research was it gave me something I wasn't expecting. I think when you've been working clinically for that length of time, you lose your way. And what was great about this, it started making me realise why I'm here, what am I doing it for, and think about the service users. I would really recommend anyone else doing this. It's just such an invaluable experience.
So an option after a master's course is a postmaster's research internship scheme. This was the option that I took. The RESPECT study aimed to improve the sexual health of people with severe mental illness. Through the internship scheme, I gained lots of insight into how a big national trial was conducted, the challenges and also the opportunities that that provides. It was really helpful to understand how the academics based in the universities linked into clinical practice in the Trust. One emphasis of the internship scheme is on dissemination of your findings. So I shared the early findings of my work at the 6th Annual Mental Health Conference in Berlin. It was quite a daunting prospect, but actually people seemed really interested in what I had to say, and it was a really valuable experience. When you've completed a postmaster's internship scheme, one option might be to take up a joint clinical academic post with one of our local universities. This really builds research capacity within the nursing and allied health professions workforce. Another option is the pre-doctoral clinical academic fellowship scheme. And this scheme is designed as a bridge between the postmaster's internship scheme and a fully funded PhD. So we hope this has helped you gain an insight into research, and I'd really encourage you to explore the options available.